everyone, you get voiceover Becky today as I show you footage of me knitting while traveling. So, I had a long trip this day and I needed something easy to go on the road with me. So some important considerations include having a project that doesn't jut out into the people next to me. You won't be able to see it here, but you'll see a little bit later on that I have circular needles. So the circular needles have just the two small points that just fit within my hands, but then the circle goes around and it doesn't go into the people next to me. And it's also, this is bigger than I usually take with me, but it's small enough that I can just keep it in the seat. And then I also have a project where I can easily keep the pattern ongoing, because you can see I'm not having to look at a book. In fact, while I'm knitting this, I'm kind of watching the movie that's on the television screen at the time. Also, if you start hearing that beeping sound, I don't know where that came from. Here I am in the bus station, so you can see I have my bag in front of me. I'm using that to hold the ball of yarn, so that way the ball of yarn doesn't escape from me. While I was traveling, it only escaped while I was on the bus, and I actually had someone pass it back to me. But it was something that I could do during the 2 hours that I had to lay over. Although it was during knitting that I realized my time would be better spent by going to get a meal, since I probably wouldn't be getting a meal on the next leg of my trip. It's a nice, calm thing. People don't usually tend to come up to me while I'm knitting, or at least they don't tend to come up to me while I'm looking like a college student, even though it's been a while since I've been in college. Yes. Nice and peaceful. I'm making a skirt, by the way. That's going to be a skirt. I still haven't finished it, but it's mostly done at this point. I was just starting it then when I was on the trip, though. But I have the ball of yarn inside the bag, so that way I can just use a zipper to kind of hold the ball in, and then I can just pull up the yarn as I'm going. I don't tend to knit too much when I'm traveling. It's not the art form that I use a lot of the time. I'm more likely to draw or paint, because it's easier to actually capture the experiences of the trip through those mediums than it is through knitting. But it is a good calming activity just to pass the time. And then here I am on the Amtrak for the last leg of my trip. And it was relatively peaceful on the Amtrak. You can tell because I'm wearing a face mask, it is still during Corona times that I'm traveling. I had to wear a mask while I was traveling, and I'm kind of thankful that I did, actually. Since I have to wear a mask all the time at work anyway, it didn't feel uncomfortable. But one of the benefits of wearing a mask is that if the yarn is super fluffy or whatnot, the strands don't get into my nose and I'm still able to breathe. At this point, you can see I'm doing a slightly different stitch than I was before, because I'm on the row where I had to do 2 yarn overs and then knit the stitch together. This was a repeating pattern, and it was repeating over only 2 rows, so it was pretty easy to keep track of. I just had to look at the stitch beforehand, even though you see me kind of struggling with it now. I just had to look at the stitch beforehand and see what stitch I had to do next. I also knew where the row was going to end because I had a row marker there. Well, that was today's entertainment. Have a nice day.